In today's lesson, we are going to try to solve some problems in 3 dimensions using the trig ratios, sine law, and cosine law. The only thing we have to remember is that when we are dealing with sine law, we have to make sure that we consider all the cases where the solution can be more than one. The first question is that we have a radio antenna which lies north of Yazin's house. Yazin walks to Anit's house, which is a distance of 1200 meters, 50 degrees east of north. From Anit's house, the antenna appears due west with an angle of elevation of 12 degrees. We are supposed to find the height of the antenna, which is this height here. Looking at this diagram, we know that we do have 3 right triangles. This triangle, all of them, in fact, are right triangle. So to find the height, I know the angle in front of it is 12 degrees. If I had this side adjacent to it, which is this side, then I could use tan ratio and I can find the height. But to find this height at this distance, I'm going to use the triangle which is the base of this, on the base of this diagram. I know this angle is 50 degrees. I know this side is 1200. This is a right triangle, so I can use sine ratio. So I can write sine 50 in the base triangle is equal to, let's call this side x, is equal to opposite, which is x, over hypotenuse, which is 1200. So from here I can find, if I cross multiply, I can find that x is 1200 sine 50. Now either I can use the calculator and estimate this value, or I can just leave it the way it is. Now that I have x value, I can go to this triangle, which is again a right triangle here. And since I have the angle 12 degrees, I'm looking for the height, and I know the adjacent angle is, adjacent side is x, which is 1200 sine 50. I can write that tan 12 is the height of the tower, h, over adjacent side, which is 1200 sine 50. Now again, I cross multiply, I get that h is 1200 sine 50 times tan 12. If you multiply these 3 numbers, we get approximately 195 meters. In the next example, Divleen is on one side of a river at point A. On the other side is a cliff which we are supposed to find the height. What Divleen does is Divleen lays out the baseline AB of length 150 meter, as it is shown on the diagram. From point A, she selects point C at the base of the cliff and measures angle CAB, which is this angle here, and it finds to be 51 degrees. She selects point D on the top of the cliff directly above point C and measures an angle of elevation of 32 degrees. She moves to point B and measures angle CBA to be 62 degrees. The first question is there any of the triangles in this problem right triangles? The first thing is that if we look at ACD, the triangle ACD, you can see that angle C has a square in it, this means that it's 90 degrees. So that angle is 90 degrees. You may say that maybe triangle ACB is also 90 degrees. To prove that it is not, add 51 and 62. You get 113. If you subtract it from 180, you're going to get the third angle, which is angle ACB, is going to be less than 90 degrees. So ACB is not a right triangle. So the only right triangle is ACD. The next part of the problem says, which length would you determine first? The whole question here in this problem is to find the height CD. Now, how are we going to find the height depends on all the information given. In the base triangle, what I would try to do is to find the side AC first. When you have the side AC here, then I can use the angle 32 in triangle ACD, the side AC, and I can use the 10 ratio to find the height, which is DC. So the first part of the question, which height am I going to find first, is which length is going to be AC. Now the question is that how am I going to find AC in the base triangle? I know the two angles are 62 and 51. I know one side is given to be 150. So I'm going to use the sine ratio in the bottom base to find the length AC. Now the base triangle is drawn again here with AB is 150, angle A is 51, angle B is 62. The first thing I'm going to find is angle C. And I'm going to say angle C is 180 minus 51 minus 62. If you do this calculation, we will find that angle C is 67 degrees. So this angle is 67. Now I'm going to use the sine law. I'm going to say 150 divided by sine 67 is the same as AC divided by sine 62. Cross multiply, I get AC sine 67 is 150 sine 62. Divide by sine 67 to isolate AC. I get AC is 150 sine 62 divided by sine 67. If we simplify this one, we get AC is approximately 144 meters. So we found this side to be 144 meters. Now going back to the diagram, I have labeled side AC to 144 meters. I have angle A, DAC to be 32 degrees. I have to find side DC, which is H. I know angle is given. I'm looking for the opposite side, and I know the adjacent side, so I can use the trig ratio 10. Remember, I can use trig ratio because the triangle is a right triangle. So here, I can say that tan 32 is a opposite, which is DC, divided by adjacent, which is 144. If I cross multiply, I get DC is 144 tan 32. If we simplify this one, we get DC, or height, is about 90 meters. In the next example, we have a boss which is flying his hot air balloon. He reports that his position is over a golf course located halfway between Emerytown and Fosterville at an altitude of 1500 meters. Okay, remember that Emerytown is going to be the vertex E, and Fosterville is going to be the vertex F, and JG is going to be 1500 meters, which is 1.5 kilometers. Just remember that EG and GF are going to be equal. And angle EDF is going to be 42 degrees. DF is 16 kilometers and DE is 16.5 kilometers. Now we know that the angle FDE is 42 degrees. We know the side DE is 16.5 and we know the side DF is 16 kilometers. So I can use the cosine law in the triangle FDE to find the side EF. So I'm going to start writing EF squared is 16 squared plus 16.5 squared minus 2 times 16 times 16.5 times cos of the angle between them, which is 42 degrees. If we simplify this one and take the square root, we get EF is 11.7 kilometers. But since we know EG and GF are equal and they are both half the length of EF, we can find that EG is equal to 11.7 kilometers divided by 2, which is 5.83 kilometers. Now in the triangle DFE, I can use the sine law and I can write that 16 over sine E is equal to side EF, which we found to be 11.7 kilometers, divided by sine of angle D, which is 42 degrees. If we crisscross here or cross multiply, we get 11.7 sine E is equal to 16 sine 42, or sine E, if we divide by 11.7, we get sine E is equal to 16 sine 42 divided by 11.7, or E is approximately going to be 66.42 degrees. Now, knowing the angle E to be 66.42, now if I redraw the triangle DEG with the angle E to be 66.42, side EG to be 5.83 and side DE to be 60.5 kilometers, I can use cosine law to find the side DG. So I can say that side DG is DG squared is 16.5 squared plus 5.83 squared minus 2 times 16.5 times 5.83 times the cos of the angle between them, which is 66.42. If we take the square root of both sides and simplify the right hand side, we get that DG is approximately equal to 15.1 kilometers. Now DG is 15.1 kilometers. We are going to look at the triangle DGJ, I know that DG is 15.1 kilometers. I know that GJ is 1.5 kilometers or 1500 meters. I can use the tan ratio because triangle DGJ is 90 degrees at angle J and angle G. So I can use the tan ratio and I can say that tan D is equal to GJ, which is 1.5, divided by DG, which is 15.5. I change everything to kilometers. If I use the inverse tan, I'm going to find that D is approximately 5.67 degrees. Now, if we go back to the sine law that we used here, and we found the angle E to be 66.42, 66.42 is going to fall in the first quadrant. If we draw the unit circle, this is going to be 66.42. But sine is also positive in the second quadrant. So if we reflect this point on the y-axis and we get this point, this angle is going to be 66.42. Now the second possibility is this angle, which is 180 minus 66.42. If we find 180 minus 66.42, we get 113.58. So another possibility for angle E is 113.58. Let's use the same type of calculation to see what will happen if angle E is 113.58. In this case, if E is 113.58, we are going to find that DG squared is 16.5 squared plus 5.83 squared minus 2 times 16.5 times 5.83 times cos of 113.58. If we take the square root of both sides and use the calculator, we get the value for DJ is approximately 19.5 kilometers. Now we are going to use the same idea and we are going to use the inverse tan, meaning that tan theta is going to be 1.5 over 19.5, and if we use the inverse tan, we get that tan and theta is approximately 4.4 degrees. So this means that there are two possibilities for angle of elevation. It can be either be 4.4 degrees or it can be 5.67 degrees.